Hi, and welcome back to the channel. I am really delighted this afternoon to be welcoming Emma Shackleton of Beacon School Support. Hello, Emma.
Hi, Louise.
How are
Very
you?
excited to be here.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe this is your next step. They are our newest partner, and I fell in love with the product as soon as I saw it. So I'm going to talk to Emma about some of the things that Beacon School Support are doing based in the UK and why I fell in love with it. Emma, tell us what have you been up to? What have you been conjuring up that you're able to offer out here to the Middle East?
Oh, thanks, Louise. I'm really excited to talk about what we're doing in our work with schools. The majority of our work is around supporting the adults to be able to support the children. That's our core mission, really. And all of the work that we do is around helping the adults to understand and support pupils with social, emotional, and mental health needs. And sometimes we know that that presents as behavioural needs as well. So anything that falls under that remit, we are really passionate about. And the way that we support schools is through lots and lots of training, consultations, advice, anything that we can do to support the adults to be able to help the children. That's the way that we work. The biggest thing that we've got that's super exciting that goes beyond our work in the UK is we've been building for around 6.5 years a whole platform of resources, training, strategies, tips, tools, advice. Everything is searchable. We've been growing and growing the content on there, and I think you'll be really excited to see the breadth of topics that we cover.
Yeah, I certainly was. I think when I was first introduced to you and I met you and you sent me over the free trial and demo and we sat and had a chat about it and I was okay, I'll go away and look at this. I think my heart kind of did two things simultaneously. One was it absolutely sank because behavior, compassion, kindness, restorative justice, adverse childhood effects, all of these things are my absolute passion. And so, I mean, it has always been my dream to create a platform whereby teachers can access content on demand when they're in the mood, when they've got a specific challenge that they're dealing with, all of that on demand in the moment, short, bite size, easy to comprehend content, which was something I've been wanting to develop for many, many years. But then my heart flew because I was like, oh, actually, if it's already being done and it's being the research is there behind it and the professionals are there behind it, actually, instead of me doing half a job, you've done a really, really, really phenomenally good job. And so I both went, oh, that was my idea, and yay, we've got support and we can use it right now. So tell us about the platform because I think that's one of the things which schools will be able to implement quite quickly. Tell us about the platform that we could sign up to today that would help our teachers tomorrow.
Yes, I really like the way that you've summed it up there. It's immediately accessible. Some people have called it, Netflix for teachers. It's an online platform which is full of modules ranging from anything, some of the shorter modules are around 8 minutes long, so bite-sized video chunks, and some of the longer modules are around an hour or an hour and a half. It's super flexible, so teams of adults can train together like they might do traditionally in a staff meeting, for example. So they could all sit down, press play, and learn about adverse childhood experiences or ADHD or PDA, or even some more general classroom practice like building relationships, getting good routines into place, managing low level disruption, working on partnerships with parents, for example. So you can train in the traditional way where you all sit down together as a staff and you work through the module and have a chat about it as you go along. And you can also access the content whenever suits you. So schools sometimes decide that they're not going to have a staff meeting this week, for example, and they're going to group their adults according to the key areas of need that they've got at that time. So they can go off, watch the modules, complete the quiz, and then come back and reflect on what they've learned and how they're going to implement that in their practice. And what schools are telling us is that they like that the content is available when they need it, because sometimes schools might have a whole school training on on something like helping children who are struggling with domestic violence, for example. But
Right.
that might not be 100% relevant to every adult at that time.
Yeah.
But then when the issue arises, the teachers need to know where to go to get that high quality impact. So the platform sits there, it's unlimited access. You have one login for your school, so there's no faffing around with people losing passwords. And people can go to the platform and search for what they need and find that high quality support and advice at their fingertips, we call it.
And I think that's the whole thing. Every single teacher in the world is at a different stage on their journey of understanding, of their different age groups that they're working with children, their different situations. And like you say, domestic violence is luckily not going to impact every single student in the school. And so I know myself, I've sat in teacher training and gone, brilliant, this my whole dissertation was on this subject. I don't need to come and listen to somebody who's just beginning their journey because you're not teaching me anything. And that sounds a bit like I know everything. I don't know everything, but there have been situations where I've been in that place. And so having one of the things I liked about the resource that you've got is even, with a dissertation, with 27 years of experience, with there was always something to learn. And so being able to, and I did take complete advantage of having a free trial and I did log in, I did look at a few videos and the one thing that really sang to my heart was the neuroaffirming. Why have you taken that kind of that approach with and where did that come from? Where did that start, that whole feeling?
Yeah, that's very much at our core, actually, and that's grown quite organically. So, myself and Simon set up Beacon almost 10 years ago, and our background is teachers. We are teachers. We call ourselves teachers for teachers because we get it, we've been there. We've taught in mainstream settings, but we've also got a lot of experience teaching in pupil referral units in the UK. So that's where children go when they've been permanently excluded from school because of social, emotional, and mental health needs. And what we learnt along the way was that so many of the children who'd been excluded from school actually often had some sort of underlying neurodiversity, which either had been recognised or was they were on the
Unrecognized.
pathway to some recognition, or actually they weren't even on a diagnostic pathway.
Yeah,
And what we learned was there's always something at the bottom of the behaviour. Behaviour is all
100%.
communication, as we know. And most kids are not getting out of bed and choosing to behave in this way. They're doing that because they're struggling. And I think our lived experience was working with hundreds of children and families who were struggling with complex needs. And what we care about is helping all of the adults around the children to start to be aware of what those needs might be, start to be curious. There's often more than one need, as we know, needs can be
Mhm.
quite complex. But we're very much for teachers and we're very much for children. We know that blaming children, punishing children isn't going to work. People have tried that for centuries. It doesn't work. If it did, all the behaviour problems would be fixed, and they're not. So we encourage that really holistic approach of looking at all of the behaviour and all of the needs. And we know that the people that we can control is ourselves. So we can control our responses to the behaviour. We can control what we say, what we
100%.
do, how we form relationships.
Whether we
And that's what
escalate or
shines through.
de-escalate. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's no way blaming the adults either. We're not into blame. It doesn't work.
It
We
doesn't
we
work.
are incredibly supportive and we want to support the adults to feel like they are confident and calm and capable no matter what the children throw their way, so that they know that there's something that they can try. And there's not going to be something that works straight away or immediately or fixes everything, because behavior and humans aren't like that.
Correct.
But what we're trying to do is get all of the adults on the same page and pulling in the same direction. So the platform has got supportive resources for teachers, teaching assistants, lunchtime supervisors, parents, coaches, breakfast club staff, one-to-one support assistants, all adults around the child. And the idea is that the child is in the centre and they're getting that 360 degrees of consistency from all of the adults around them.
I love that you use the word curious there. Curious is my word of 2025. I think everyone should just be more curious about not just subjects and topics, but about why are people behaving? Why is my relationship doing that? Why is just why? Just why? Why are parents reacting in that way? Why are children reacting in that way? Why won't they sit in the classroom? And the other thing was around blame. Miss Maya, can't pronounce her first name, Maya Angelou. She had a quote that she said, "Do the best you can until you know better, and then when you know better, you do better." And I think that's the journey. And again, what I see in your work is that whole, you're here, take the next step. Don't be perfect. None of us are perfect. I am by means not the most perfect teacher or the most perfect human being, but that would be boring, right?
Absolutely. That's it. That's it. Start from where you're at. Start with what you know. Be a detective. Gather more information. Look, learn, listen in, and then try something. And even if that something doesn't work, actually trying something is building up that piece of the jigsaw. It's giving you more information. And it's also really empowering. We don't like when adults feel stuck.
Yep.
And often we've got adults in school settings who feel like they don't know what to do next. And that's a horrible position
It
to be in for
is
everybody.
absolutely. I also cut my teeth in a PRU, so I can a pupil referral unit. So I completely get that feeling of, oh, I know why this child's doing it, but I just don't know what steps to take to try and unravel it for them, to make it better for them because they're in pain, right? So
Yeah, and that's what schools tell us actually. I think that sets us apart from other training providers. What they tell us is that our materials are incredibly accessible, they're really
okay,
down to earth. They all start with the research and the theory because it's very important to know that. But then we quickly flip to
into
what should I
strategy.
say? What should I do? What strategies can I try that might help this situation a little bit?
Perfect. So, online platform, I mean, that's the bit that you're probably going to come out here and bring the quickest, easiest solution. It's a
Yes.
whole consultancy strategy program behind that, face-to-face training, etc. So, two things, everyone that's watching and listening. First of all, if you would like to connect with Emma and have a free trial or a demonstration or to understand what is available to you right now, please do. We're sitting here in 2025 in March, and I know that in May, at the Optimus MENA conference that's coming up for inclusion and wellbeing. I know that Emma is coming out here to speak and to collaborate and to talk to people. So we will be having a coffee morning. So feel free to come meet Emma here at the centre or at the conference. If you're not able to make the conference, there'll be other opportunities to meet her face to face. She will also take appointments to come in and see your schools and to talk to you if behaviour is one of your goals and behaviour management, not negative behavior, that can't be a goal. If you want to have any support with that, if that's something that the school is struggling with. Online program, have a chat with Emma, see us in May at the Optimus, and stay tuned because we will have a lot more coming up. Emma, delightful to speak to you this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Great to speak to you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Take care. All the contact details are in the website page below. Take care.